Welcome to my early access review of the Crust. Think of Captain of Industry but on the moon. This game has a lot of potential but easy to ready. Let's talk about it. So what is the Crust? Automate a lunar base as you become the savior of humanity. Exploring the future on the moon. Mine, craft, research and trade resources with Earth in this griping narrative base builder. It was released in July of 2024, so let's say 2 months ago. And I think it's a perfect time for a review. I know a lot of YouTubers do the review right away, and maybe that's what you want, but personally, I like to wait a couple of months. Why? One is to see the first few patches. Are they making progress to fix the game or to make it better? For early access game, by the way, I'm talking about. And also, I like to actually finish my first Let's Play so I can really talk about it. Because you can find in the video description below my full Let's Play from start to this point over here where we have a mega base. We have a lot of people living here, we have a lot of factories, as you can see, on the ground, and even on the top of the moon over here we have a lot of things going on. And last but not least, on the actual surface of the moon you can see a lot of my vehicles moving around, and we're doing research and many trading and all those type of things. So what do I think about the game? I think in terms of pros, there's a lot of Captain of Industry over here. And if you know my channel, you know I love Captain of Industries. Basically, the drones that you can see moving over here are similar to your trucks and vehicles in Captain of Industry. And then you do have also, if you go underground, the belt system, right? Conveyor belts to transport your resources in an automated way. So that is also a great thing. I also like the complexity of the game. There is quite a few production chains. They are not too complex, but they do require you, to think about it, to create nice, if you want to do like me and create nice sort of bus systems, you're gonna have a small challenge. I also like the challenge of the regolith. You're going to mine regolith, but then based on where you mine the regolith, it's going to have a different richness or a different, if you wish, composition out of those 5 things, out of slag, silicon, aluminium, titanium, and iron. This is creating an interesting, again, complexity over here, which is nice to manage. As I mentioned, there is also 3 levels to manage and that are interconnected, for example, with those elevators over here. The underground over here, the surface of my base, which is limited to this space here. And then when a vehicle leaves the base, when it goes over here, then you get to the actual surface of the moon. So again, quite a nice challenge over here to manage all 3 of these. There is also, of course, a research tree. No, wrong one. Here it is, a research tree, which is divided into 3 modules or 3 types: the fundamental, engineering, and social. This is also linked to 3 different resources: the blue, the orange, and the green. At the beginning, you will see that something, let's go right to the top, sorry, like something like this only takes green in social. In engineering, the first one only takes orange, but very quickly all of them will require all 3. So there's again quite an interesting challenge over here that you need to make sure to produce all 3 of those research type to be able to upgrade and unlock many things. So you're going to unlock new production, new buildings, you're going to unlock upgrades too, right? Another interesting complexity, or something this is actually pretty new, is you have the night and day cycle. But on the moon, the night is very long. It's multiple days. And similarly, the day is very long. It's multiple days, or Earth days, right? So you're going to have sun for a while, and you can charge your batteries with those solar panels, but then you're not gonna have sun for many days, and so your batteries are gonna start becoming empty. This is what you can see over here. My battery used to be completely full, now it's only at 91%, and it's going down and down. There is other ways to make energy so that you're less reliant on the day cycle, but this is an interesting concept that I like. There is a story. I'm not gonna go into spoiler of the story, but there's definitely a story. It's not finished, not perfect, but I like it. I think it creates definitely a reason to play the game. It creates some urgency. I think there is choices that you make during the story that today don't really seem to impact too much the outcome, but definitely do impact, and hopefully they can make it so that in the final version it impacts even more. On top of, the mining, the production, there is also another interesting concept underground, which is your colonist. So over here, you need obviously those drones to transport resources, but then you can create those pressurized buildings where your people can actually live. So I can see where are my people. I don't see anybody. Where are you? The colonists. So here it is. There is one here, for example. Yeah, there's a couple here. You can see them. So they're moving around, and they're all individual people, individual simulated, right? They have different skill level, different traits, which you can get, when you buy. So sorry, let's go into the market quickly. Colonies hiring. So you can see over here, they all are very different. They all cost different amount to actually, all of these seems to be, no, this one is 23, for example, instead of 20. And even their salary per month is different. Different traits, as I said, for example, this one is an introvert, where self-learning is going to be enhanced, but penalty to mood when working in a large team. So he doesn't like to work in a large team. Versus this one is a doctor, he has a trait of the doctor. So he's going to get a bonus on medicine production. He's going to get also a bonus on social research. So with all of these people, you're going to make them work in your buildings. And when they work in a building, they can increase the efficiency of these buildings. So that's really powerful. Now you're going to need to take care of them, right? Because again, if I click on one, I can see their health, hunger, energy, comfort, and oxygen. So they're going to want, food and oxygen. So we're going to produce the oxygen over here. We're going to produce food in the kitchen. I think it's this one. Yeah, food. All right. Then they're going to take that food from the fridge. There's a fridge here and another one over there. They're going to take that food and then they're going to take it, go to a table to eat. They're going to listen to music. They're going to want to sleep in a bed, right, to rest. So you have all of this secondary, game inside the game in a sense. It is not fully done. It is clear that it is the one mechanic that they're clearly working on right now, but it is pretty interesting. Sometimes it feels a bit like items in Anno 1800, where you're going to place, those items to improve the productivity of certain buildings, but it is obviously way more complex because now you need, as I said, to solve all of their needs. And lastly, on the pros is that since the launch in early access, they have done definitely quite a few hotfixes and patches, improvement to performance, etc. So they are definitely working on it so that we can get a full experience soon. But now let's talk about the cons, starting with almost the same point, which was there was quite a few bugs when the game launched. And secondly is the performance not that great. I mean, I do have quite a strong PC, you can find on my YouTube channel all of the detail, and the game is struggling. You can see right now it is struggling. I am at only 1 speed. If I go to 4 speed, it's gonna really struggle, right? And this is obviously a large base, but it's not large enough to have a chance to finish the mission. Like, I'm very far from finishing the story, so we're gonna need an even bigger base, right? And my base is really struggling right now. So they need to work more on performance, and they do need to continue also fixing some of the bugs. Secondly is, I think we're missing quality of life, especially around the commercial aspect. It's a really interesting mechanics that you can have multiple federation or multiple corporations that you can sell things to. You can see each of these are contracts, right? But all of this is super manual. I need to do a lot of clicks to choose one, to then click on it, to accept it, then to start sending the resources by selecting which cargo pod, which landing site, then clicking on the resources, giving the resources, and when they're multiple, I need to click multiple times, and usually, you need to deliver more than one a pod can do, so I'm gonna have to click multiple times again. Like, this is just way too many clicks for what it is. So they definitely need to bring quality of life. For example, I should be able to have a quick filter to find, okay, I want to sell fuel. Who wants to buy fuel? Then there should be things like standing sell orders, or I should be able, to click on something and say, accept and send the resources. And it's going to send by default. Maybe, I can choose one of my what do you call it, landing site to be the default one, right? And it always goes there. Right now, way too many clicks. Similarly, I think on the UI, there is some work that can be done. I think it's good that you have some resources there, and then I can click here and see more, but I cannot organize them. Oops, see, that's what I would want to do. I would want to be able, to choose which resources are here. And then I can click there and see again the same resources. Why twice? Like, what's the point? And then I don't really see, when I hover it, I don't see any statistics. I don't see, for example, how much am I producing or consuming in the last few months, or those type of things. So in the UI, there is also some quality of life that needs to happen over here, in my opinion. Another quality of life is, if you think about Captain of Industry, is I would love to be able to put on all of my storages some warnings, right? I can put a warning, for example, tell me when this is full, or tell me when this is half empty. This is really, really critical in Captain of Industry, and I think this is missing over here. The other element of Captain of Industry that I think they need to copy is the concept of Unity. In Captain of Industry, you have this special resource called Unity, which you need to produce. You need to basically give, for example, a lot of food to your people, or you need to have your people happy to gain Unity. And with this Unity, you can do special actions, including instantly building a building that you have the resources for. And why do I think it is really critical over here is because sometimes I have to wait hours, like in-game hours, not real hours, but let's say real minutes for a building to be built, even when I put it as the highest priority. You have those priorities over here where you can say something is high priority, but first of all, you only have 3 levels of priority, like basically low, normal, and high. So you're always going to likely have several things that are high priority. And even when they're high priority, it usually takes a while for my drones or whatnot to arrive, deliver resources, and build something. So having this Unity can change the game completely. And then lastly, on the cons is I did mention that, the story, I don't think is finished. I think there's also balancing that needs to happen in the story, or at least in the productions, because this huge base here is huge. Like, let's be clear, it's huge, right? I don't think a lot of players would build something like this, something also so organized with perfect bus, like if I may say so myself, and still I'm definitely not going to be able to win the story. So something is not right here. In summary, this game has huge potential, but I think it really needs a few more things before we can say it is worth it, it is a buy. At this point, if you are a huge fan of city builder simulations like Captain of Industry, then yes, you will have a great time, and hopefully, we trust in the devs to finish it. I'm going to talk about a roadmap in a second. Then yes, you should buy it now. You should jump on the train, and you can help the dev make this game even better. But otherwise, I do suggest that maybe you wait just a bit more before trying it on, or maybe you wait for, a sale before trying it on. But before we conclude, let's talk indeed about the roadmap, because they do have a roadmap. This was actually even before early access. This one a Kickstarter. So they had a roadmap, that you can see over here. And now we're towards here, right? Where actually we have the early access launch, right? In Q3 of 2024. And we're supposed to move into Q4 and then 2025. Now, as far as I know, they haven't said when the release will be. Will it be 1 year of early access, 2 years? But what is good is that we do see clear roadmaps, right? There is here in the early access coming soon. We know that they need to rework a bit the people, right, aspect of the system. Then they have a lot of things that they want to work on. Multi-level conveyors could be really great, the next chapter in the campaign, and more. And they're even thinking about potential DLC in the future, including a combat system. There is right now no combat system, but they're talking about this in the future. So it's good that they have a roadmap. I'm just worried it may take a long time. So hopefully they will prove me wrong, and we will see this improvement both in terms of the performance and in terms of getting, the UI fully cleaned and all of the mechanics fully developed. So again, in summary, I think if you're a huge fan of city builders, of Captain of Industry, it's a great one. You can jump in. but otherwise maybe wait a bit more. If you want to see more of the game, you can see on the screen now my playlist from start to finish of the game, and you can also subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned on news for this game, because of course when there is a big update I will replay it, I will update you all. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.